I'm so grateful when I see so many wonderful writers and songwriters that are women up there, because when I have actually can remember being told when I was starting out, I'm sorry, we have our one woman's act. And
My
they said, yeah,
goodness.
you got to be kidding. I said, no, that's why it's so, that's why I'm so grateful when I see this happening, because that means there's all of these new songs and all of these ideas and all of these things are now part of this community and part of the music community generally throughout, pop music and all of that too. And that it's such a wondrous change to me.
Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour where musicians pick an album from their back catalog and tell the stories behind their favorite tracks in front of a live online audience.
This week we talk with Canadian folk legend Connie Kaldor, who joins us from Montreal to have a cup of tea and revisit her 2023 album of Resilience, Keep Going. She talks about her roots in the Saskatchewan prairies, recording with her musical family, and an interesting habit she picked up in her 45 years of touring. So pour a beverage, grab a snack, and kick back as we listen to music together here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, where it's always Friday and old albums never sounded better. All right. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
My name is Connie Kaldor. I'm your guest.
That's right. Joining us from Montreal. All right.
People are excited that you're here, Connie.
Well, we have Joe joining us ready for the show in Misty, Minneapolis, and another Connie joining us from Richfield, Minnesota.
Hey, Connie.
Hey.
Connie's Unite.
Love that first name.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the party, folks. And we are enjoying kind of lunchtime taping today. So I am coming to the party with a variety of things because I couldn't settle on one thing. So I have some coffee, maybe with a little splash of Irish cream to make it more fun. And then I have my lunch, some leftover pizza. And then I have water to hydrate and my Back Catalog Listening Party pint glass.
Nice. I think you got it covered.
Hey. I think I have everything covered for my our lunchtime happy hour. Tony, are you enjoying any kind of beverage or food?
I had my lunch already, but I'm enjoying some hot cold press here in my free range pick and mug. We make cold press coffee all summer, and someone was like, you can just heat that up too, and it's so smooth. It doesn't have all that kind of acid kind of vibe going on. So I'm enjoying a nice cup of coffee here on a kind of a chilly day here in Minnesota.
Yeah. And Connie, are you enjoying anything in Montreal?
Well, I have my cup of tea. I have my lovely teacup here, my thrift store find teacup. I love thrift stores, and I go to them all the time, and I can't say no to a teacup or a teapot, if that's the truth. Paul is often threatened. Our marriage is threatened if I buy one more teapot, but I still do. I just love them. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I break a lot of them over the year. But
so
I've never met a teapot I didn't like.
I love that. And you just got back from a pretty long tour. When you're touring, do you bring any teacups with you, or are you?
No, I oftentimes just pick them up in a thrift store. I tour with a thermos. I love it, and I have the thermos cup, but I don't like drinking out of plastic or tin or whatever. So I go and buy a teacup every trip. I'll stop at a thrift store and get a real teacup, especially if I'm flying. Then I pick it up when we get there, and then I can have my tea in a lovely cup. I mean, a little bit of luxury for $1.50.
Nice.
I could do that.
And it's keeping some home on the road, which must be really nice.
Yeah, there's standards you have to uphold.
That's right.
I love that.
And a teacup is one of them. I used to try, long before they had the recyclable things at festivals, I used to have China cup that I would clip onto my bag, and because they had all those styrofoam things that I just hate. But and so I would have my own teacups even back then for like $1.50 in some thrift store. You can get this beautiful thing that somebody's probably treasured their entire life, and then it gets shipped off to the thrift store when they pass away, and I get to buy it for $1.50 and enjoy that beautiful China, lovely thing.
I love it.
I love it. And I know you got back pretty late last night.
Yep, 3 a.m.
So we are really grateful that you're here. And,
are you kidding? I wouldn't miss it for the world.
So for folks who maybe are less familiar with your music, you have a huge resume, too much to count
Yeah.
today on the show. And we want to focus on this one recording that we're going to revisit. But for folks who maybe are a little less familiar with the music, maybe you can give a brief origin story, at least, of kind of where you grew up, how you fell into making the music that you make.
Well, ironically, my link to Minnesota is that my grandparents came through there on their way up to North Dakota. They immigrated from Norway and came up to North Dakota. And then they heard of a place even colder and bleaker than North Dakota and said, let's go to Saskatchewan. So that's where I'm from, that large flat place before Banff. And I'm a prairie gal. I love the prairies. And we actually have my husband, I always thought I'm a singer. I'm on the road. I'm so sophisticated. And then I fell in love with a guy. He's from Saskatchewan. I must have had to go home to spawn. And he now has gone back to farm his family farm. And so I am again linked back into the farm in Saskatchewan. He farms it with his 6 sisters, one of whom had gone back and then he helped her out. So they kind of have, they were handed the land by their fathers, their family farm, and him and his 6 sisters own this farm and run it. And so I'm back, a farm, back on the farm and driving grain trucks every once in a while. But it's my music has come out of that part. And I started out like 45. The first time I came to the U.S. was opened for Stan Rogers, so that gives you an idea how far back I go. I played at the Extemp. And I've been doing it for over 45 years now, and I've been writing about the things that I could write about, which is about the prairies in the West and where I'm from, about women's issues, because there was hardly anything written about that in those days. And I've been able to be a songwriter and a performer for that many years. I just kind of carved my little way into the scene there. Toured most of the U.S. and Canada, some of Europe and India. I've been all over, and I've won lots of things. I've kind of been under the radar a lot. I'm an independent. I've never been with a record company. I've been under the radar. I've got, I did 3 children's albums and I've done all of this kind of stuff, just kind of because I liked it, because I wanted to do it. And I was so lucky. There were so many songs that hadn't been written about the stuff that I felt strongly about, which is about Western culture and living and the landscape, and about women's issues, about women's things. There were so few songs written from that perspective. So it was just a wide open space there to just get in there and write my things. And there was a group of us from Canada, there was Heather Bishop and Farron and myself and Stan Rogers and Garner Rogers and and Baldy and all of these people that were kind of I felt part of a little Canadian wave there, trying to muscle our way into the festivals. It's funny because I was talking about kids that we're talking about Heather and stuff like that. And I said, do you realize that we were talking about, women and getting on the stage. And I said, I'm so grateful when I see so many wonderful writers and songwriters that are women up there, because when I have actually can remember being told when I was starting out, I'm sorry, we have our one woman's act. And they said, yeah, you got to be kidding. I said, no, that's why that's why I'm so grateful when I see this happening, because that means there's all of these new songs and all of these ideas and all of these things are now part of this community and part of the music community generally throughout, pop music and all of that too. And that it's such a wondrous change to me. I love it. Anyway, that's where I'm coming from. I'm from the prairies. I've clawed my way to the middle kind of thing. And I have, I have 2 kids that now sing with me. I always say that that's the sign of my commitment. What kind of commitment you need to be a Canadian female singer-songwriter. You have to grow your own band. But I did it. I stuck in there. I hung in there. I kept going.
That's
and I
wonderful.
think it's just, I look back and where I started out and stuff, and I'm so grateful that I've just been able to do this. And that's the feeling that you had coming out of that time. And, where you started out playing, women's bookstores and things like that. And the communities, supported you, and the folk community was open to doing that. So I'm, it's still amazing to me that I'm able to keep doing it. It really is. It's such a privilege to be a musician. It's such a privilege to be able to make your life in music. And now to share that with my sons who are also making albums and stuff like that too. It's, I think it's unbelievable to me that it's still out there doing it. There's still people playing it. And there's still people showing up to see it and stuff like that. I'm grateful.
Wonderful.
I wouldn't have imagined it starting out anyway.
Yeah. Well, we are grateful that you're here with us,
Yes.
and
Thank
we're
you.
excited because you have such a big catalog to revisit.
Oh God, I'm old. It goes back so many years, 19 albums. Yes.
Well, but we're gonna focus today on an album that came out in 2023. So more
Yes.
recently, this is "Keep Going," which feels like it feels like a good thread from what you were just talking about.
Yes.
Sometimes you just have to keep on keeping on, and that's what you've been doing. We were going to start off with this a title track from this album. Is there anything you want to say about this before we take a listen to it?
Well, I've been kind of introducing it lately, saying, that all those people that are saying, live in the moment, live in the now, but what if the now sucks? That's what this song is for.
Okay. Well, this goes out to everybody. Connie Kaldor, keep going here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Need a buck and you got a dime, keep going. You're out of luck, working overtime, keep going. You are wrong every time you try, keep going. The road is long, the mountain's high, keep going. You hope the tunnel's got a light, but it's too dark to tell. Remember, if you're going through hell, keep going. You're in a pinch, life is hard, keep going. You get an inch when you need a yard, keep going. 8 more hours and you are beat, keep going. You got sour when you want sweet, keep going. You hope the tunnel's got a light, but it's too dark to tell. Remember, if you're going through hell, keep going. Someone's cheating and it's not fair, keep going. Some are eating while your plate's bare, keep going. Keep going. What you're facing is crazy town, keep going. Someone's chasing you, don't slow down, keep going. You hope the tunnel's got a light, but it's too dark to tell. Remember, if you're going through hell, keep going. On the slippery slope, you better take care, keep going. At the end of your rope, climb back up there, keep going. 'Cause who wants to stay where you're taking a hit? Get through, get around, or get over it, keep going. You hope the tunnel's got a light, but it's too dark to tell. Remember, if you're going through hell, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
All right.
Nice.
I love that kind of rhythm ending, which isn't something you get a lot
Yes.
on a lot of folk
Yeah,
records.
fade out
but
bass. I like it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
super
cool. We
sweet.
played with a lot of the players that my son played with. Their band. We started playing with them, and they're young and just so brilliant. They're trained, and they just started out so much further along than all of the rest of us that were picking E and G on our guitars at 12. But they're it's really neat to we've played along with them, and they hire them on taking them on the road and stuff like that. So they come at it they know what you're trying to do, but they come at it with something different, and I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about that crew and that you've compiled.
Well,
here and
I
where you guys recorded.
we have a in-home studio that especially during the pandemic we really were grateful for. And there's a guitar player who, studied jazz in McGill. Like my son came back and had a year in the jazz program here. And they, we make jokes that after only 2 or 3 tours with Connie Kaldor and Alexis Campagne, he discovered the pedal steel out west and has never looked back. He's
Nice.
this great pedal steel player, which is on the new album. But they're young and they're really musically just sophisticated and great players. And the bass player is, I think, gifted, and truly in the sense of gifted. He plays anything with strings, and he just is, he comes at it he's been trained classically and jazz and all of that stuff. And he's solid and just comes at it something a little different always. So that's been a real pleasure. And the drummer, on that one, I think it was Aaron, but we have a drummer called Maud Bastien, who's really good too. So I'm meeting all these players in Montreal. Like I'd played with players. I had a bass player I played with for many years, Bill, who's still wonderful, great. But I've been playing with people from the West on my older albums. So it's been nice to find a real great crew here that we can record with. And they always come with something excellent.
That's great. And they all get in your house and get a cup of tea and record.
Coyote Entertainment and Bistro, we call it. I always but my son's album too, and it happened during COVID, and we gone out to the farm for the seeding time because we weren't working. So I came out to stay on the farm for the summer, but they lived in and did it like Music from the Big Pink. They just,
nice.
Isolated and then moved in, and they just lived in the house and did the album. I've never ever wanted a house more than it was during lockdown time.
I bet.
And that's still kind of how we do it. People can come and stay and record if they want to. Friends of ours. I mean, it's mostly just for friends and people we know, but we've done so many projects out of here over the years. It's been, and for me to I have a really good grand piano here. And I was always weird about recording. I always felt, it never was like live is just, I love performing live. It's my thing, but having a studio yourself where you can kind of get used to recording and feel like you can do some things. And if it doesn't work, we'll just do it again. Mm-hmm. That's been a real game changer for me as a recording artist, for sure.
Mm. Well, one of the things that I noticed in that track, aside from, as we mentioned, especially the great rhythm section and everything on the band, is the vocals. Who else was that? Was it? I'm joining you, or
that's my sister-in-law. I'm so blessed with vocals. My sister-in-law, my niece, all of these. Paul's whole family sings.
Nice.
And they had a group called Fadav One, which is all of his sisters, and then Heart Rouge with 4 of his sisters.
Heart Rouge, yeah.
And one of those sisters is Michelle Campagne, who's on that. We call her the Pitch Queen. And her daughter even sings on it. We call her the Pitch Princess. They just so accurate, such good, and they come with such interesting things because they've been doing vocals for 40 years, and they've tried everything, and they just come with some really great ideas. So there's an organic thing that happens there, and there's a vocal mix that happens with them and my sons, with them and Paul. And so it just creates such an interesting vocal thing. I mean, I often talk about let's just do an a cappella album. I just want to do that. But always on all of these. And my son Gabriel has also got this, he studied opera. He's got a great voice as well. So he brings another texture and tone into it. It's just been it's so fabulous to just record with your family and to hear this, to get that blend and that mix. And they're at a level that, they're all pros, and, they've all been doing it a lot. Even my young niece, she's been hearing it all her life. She has unbelievable pitch and unbelievable timing. You just do something and it's never wrong. Like that's what's really amazing about this little arts factory that we've got happening here in Montreal with our families and family harmonies and friends. And it's an organic process that is so satisfying.
Nice. Well, we got a comment saying here in the live chat saying this one's got to have been covered by some gospel groups, probably tuning into that kind of vocal style.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, in fact, I have a lot of choirs that have done my songs. There's been choir arrangements done of many of my songs over the years, and stirring things. I mean, there comes a time that Heather Bishop has been recorded with this male choir from Boston Men's Choir, and they're singing in a country where it's illegal to be homosexual, and they're singing "There Comes a Time We Just Gotta Rise." I mean, I see that songs will often have their own lives, and I see that the hair just went up on my arms. I mean, I love voices. I just love voices generally, singing together, and we sing around the table and stuff like that too. It's well, it's not exactly the Sound of Music kind of thing, believe me. Oftentimes the songs are a little, but to just be able to sing together is such a wondrous thing. And also to hear, I'd love to do a whole album just of choirs, so just go around and record choral arrangements of the stuff, because it's just another texture to a song, and the song becomes less of yours and more, it becomes a community thing. And that's the beauty of a choir, and people singing together. And I can form my own choir with my family, thank goodness. And I do bring it out. And I don't know, every time I just love it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting with so much music in your family. Um, it seems like it's all pretty second nature to everyone in the family. But was there ever, this album we're revisiting called "Keep Going," and you've been performing for professionally for 45 years. Was there ever a time when you thought, maybe I'm not going to keep going, maybe I'm going to do something else with my life, or was music always the thing?
Well, I just can't help myself, and it's so much fun. And I really, I write all the time, whether it becomes, take a bunch of Kleenex, put it in your pocket, save it for a snotty day. I write for keep the kids entertained. Who knows when a nose will kind of running and make your nose drip? You're much better to have it on a Kleenex than to have it on your lip. Like that. I can't help myself. I just write stuff, and I love writing for others or with others. But I don't know. It's perhaps it's that I've just invested so much time. I can't imagine. I don't know what else I'd do that would give me this much satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
And there may come a time when I can't sing well or whatever that is, and I'm that day may come, and I will probably reassess that. But it is to be able to sing for people, to be a woman and be able to make my living singing for others, singing my own songs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how extraordinary that is? When you think 40 years ago, maybe that wasn't even a possibility someone even dreamed of. Think of how many, and now at this age, sometimes I do go through, okay, do I really have anything to say? Am I really got, is it worth it? Am I just, dragging out the old stuff? But then I thought, hey, how many women over 50 did I know when I was growing up that were writing? The answer would be 0.
Mm-hmm.
This is a continuation. I thought I'd kind of coast by now, but that's just not happening. And look at what's going on around you right now with women's rights and women's things.
Mm-hmm.
There is more. So I'm an older woman, and maybe I don't want to be just invisible. Maybe I want to be loud. Maybe I want to be singing. Maybe I want to be funny. Maybe I want to be surprising. Because that's also part of what we're doing, is to say we are here. I know that sounds dumb, but really, sometimes I felt that through my life. We're just standing up and saying, we are here. Yeah. We are here, and we think we have these ideas, and this is what we feel, and we think you guys are jerks. And so I wrote a song about it. But you know what I mean? That's the kind of, and so now as an older woman, I think maybe that's, maybe that's the boundary I have to break down now, much as I, would just like to coast and make cookies in the kitchen or whatever. It's just not my style. And it's just not what's needed too,
Yeah.
Everybody needs a song. Everybody needs to hear their lives on somewhere, something that'll connect them with their lives and make them realize that ordinary lives are in fact extraordinary, and ordinary things and feelings are in fact worth singing about. That's
Amen.
That's it. 8 women in 8 weeks, killed in Montreal in domestic violence. What do you do with that?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't, and somebody else didn't write about it, so it's just my job. I think that's your job as a troubadour in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like your job is to put this kind of music on the airwaves. This job is to find an audience for this. That's, I don't know. What else are you going to do? Pickleball? Yeah. I don't know.
Well, and it makes sense too. You talked about being a troubadour, and that's your job. And that was the job of troubadours, was to pass on the information, to document what is happening around us. And it's now more important than ever. We got a question from Connie. Are you familiar with the music of Rita McNeil?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course. I toured with her. I toured with her on they had this big Canadian tour. She is unbelievable. And the first time I saw Rita McNeil was in the basement of a Toronto church. and it was a meeting of women in music or women's issues or some kind of thing like that, way back when, in the middle of nowhere and stuff. And they said, "Oh, there's a woman here, maybe she would like to sing a song." I said, "Great." She got up and she sang Working Man, and I just was gobsmacked. And she was a single mother living on welfare, 2 kids in Toronto. And I said, "Oh my God, you are unbelievable." And somehow she got it together, got those songs out there, got help, got probably from that community, from that women's community as well. But she was astounding then, and she was astounding till the day she left us. She was a force of nature, and such a powerful singer and genuine in every way. That genuine kind of down home sense, it was her. It was not a put on thing. She beat the odds, and I'm grateful. And she still talked about, she's still important. She still stimulated a whole scene in Cape Breton. She was amazing. And she definitely worth if she never wrote any other song besides Working Man, it would have been good. But she wrote a lot of great other songs to listen to too. I highly recommend you Googling her or whatever. Yeah, no, she was astounding.
Thanks for that question, Connie. I think you were going to say this, Ellen. We will make sure to link to Rita McNeil in our show notes so everybody can learn more about her.
That's right. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can go to backcataloglisteningparty.com to check out links to Rita McNeil, to Connie Kaldor's music. Connie Kaldor joining us from Montreal today to revisit her 2023 album, Keep Going. And this is a lunchtime taping. That's right. We got Alan joining us from Texas saying, "I'm in."
All right.
So folks are joining us. So if you are joining us for the live taping, tell us where you're tuned in from. If you're enjoying maybe a sandwich or a beverage of some kind, we're heading into a holiday weekend here. So no judgment of anything that you're imbibing. It's all good here.
Hey there. Would you like to be part of the live show? Well, become a member of the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon, and you'll get a backstage pass to weekly online tapings where you can ask the artist questions and participate in the live chat with a fun community of like-minded music nerds. You'll also get a first look at upcoming guests and receive invitations to special live streams and private after parties. So join the party today at patreon.com/backcataloglisteningparty.
But right now we're going to take a listen to another track. And the next track we have queued up is Solo Clarinet. Is there anything you want to say before we listen?
Emily is a wonderful friend of my son's. She's a clarinet player. She plays in the she had landlord troubles. This is about landlord troubles for musicians. I mean, and she would play her clarinet and the landlord would bang on this. That's like the song says about. And it was just to say, it's so hard for people sometimes to be a musician and to keep good and what it takes to actually become excellent at something and to try and find a place to live that'll allow you to, I don't know. She told me the story and it just, and she's the one playing the clarinet on this. And we get her, she lives in Montreal. We get her up to play. If we're ever doing a show in Montreal, we always get her to come and play along with this song. No, the song says it all. And I love the chorus. I sometimes sing it to myself. You can't please everyone, there's always some you do.
All right. Let's give it a spin. This is Connie Kaldor with Solo Clarinet here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
There's nothing lonelier than a solo clarinet. But when Emily plays, she's as happy as a laugh. She sends her melodies floating down her street through the window of her one and her half. Emily's got a landlord and he's lonely and he's mean, but he hates to be reminded of that. But every time he hears her play her clarinet, he pounds on the ceiling of her flat. Well, you can't please everyone, there's always something you do. Music is a lifeline as we drift. No, you can't please everyone, but even if that's true, never doubt the beauty of the gift. Emily has to play a little every day. That's the only way you stay any good. Takes a lot of practice to get sweet notes out of a little bit of reed and wood. There's someone walking down her street, someone she'll never meet, but he stops and he listens to her play. And something in that lonely plate so sweet is what gets him through another day. No, you can't please everyone, there's always some you do. Music is a lifeline as we drift. No, you can't please everyone, but even if that's true, never doubt the beauty of the gift. No, you can't please everyone, there's always some you do. Music is a lifeline as we drift. No, you can't please everyone, but even if that's true, never doubt the beauty of the gift. Never doubt the beauty of the gift.
I'm not doubting the beauty of that gift. That was solo clarinet music from Connie Kaldor from her 2023 release, Keep Going, which we're revisiting today on the back catalog listening party with Connie joining us from her home in Montreal. And what a beautiful arrangement. So
yes, that was done actually by the bass player, that gifted bass player. He worked out a little arrangement.
What's his name again? The bass player?
Stefan Krims.
Mm-hmm.
Stefan Krims. He's originally from Edmonton, but he moved to Montreal to study at McGill, and that's how we met him, through a number of friends through Edmonton. I have so many connections in Edmonton and all these, I have a web of fabulous friends and family, my extended chosen family throughout the country. I lived in Edmonton for many years, and he was linked to I have a goddaughter who is played in the youth orchestra, and all of the web of musicians that thankfully end up in our purview here.
Yeah, so he arranged that.
Yeah.
And did you have kind of a vision for the song when you wrote it, or did you just write the song and bring it to him?
I had a little melody, and I played out da 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 da. I played all of that, and I wanted it to resolve on the major at the end, which I just love. But all of that stuff and how it intertwines and stuff. He, and he worked with my son as well. But yeah, I don't know, they just come at it with so many skills and so many. It's a pleasure to hear something. Ooh, he's done a couple of things like that where he said, okay, you do the arrangement and score it out for her to play. And yeah.
A beautiful clarinet playing too.
Yes. She's a great player. She's a great player.
And I want to say, you were talking about how, sometimes you got to write about stuff when nobody else is writing about it. And I don't know if I've ever heard a song so empathetic to that musician who's working on their craft and lives maybe in an apartment or something. But as a banjo player who tried learning in an apartment, I felt seen there, Connie. So I'm glad you put that
and she had to move. He got so awful. She had to move. So I used to say, can you send this song to him? Maybe you could play it on the radio in Montreal and he might hear it. Anyway, no, I don't know. What can you do?
It's a real struggle.
It is. And it's, it's something that's real to them and real to us all. We've all had places where we've, weirdo landlords, and And I think that generation too, like my son's generations, a lot of them are saying, I don't know if I'll ever be able to afford a house where I can practice or whatever.
And make
Mhm.
a lot of
That
noise.
means
Yeah.
like the price of housing is just blowing up, and how do you afford it? And so it's, a lot, home is a real powerful thing. What is home? What can you do in your home? And what does
Mhm.
your home need to be? And I
Yeah.
don't know. I see them facing that, and that's part of. I mean, these stories come to you. You just got to take them and go. And
Well, and
she's
I
such
think
a lovely human being, and there she is struggling. It just makes me cranky.
well, yeah, and I was just think about all the artists out there that want to belt it out.
Yeah, yeah.
And like the thought of even how affordability of a
And they're usually
space.
choosing places that don't cost very much money,
Yeah.
and that's where you get the cranky, mean old landlords and the weirdo people, and because they can't afford thousands of dollars a month if they're working as a musician full time. And it's we need music, and they
Mhm.
keep taking away every way to make money with music. They do. They,
100%.
I see these guys struggling and trying to make it on this, and get their generation out to shows, and a lot of the places have closed. And it's one of the real powers of the folk scene is that the people involved in it care about music,
Mhm.
and they make something happen in their house or their, or their festival, and they, it's really we get a little, we are so lucky that we meet these people and not just the music business people that are just trying to squeeze every cent out of someone's living.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of which, we just want to take this opportunity to say you can buy this album. You can support
You
Yes.
this
can
great
buy
music.
this album.
If you go to ConnieKaldor.com, it's also available on Bandcamp, and you can even throw something a little extra if you buy it on Bandcamp. But you can get this record. You can find all of her great recordings. You can also find tour dates. I know Connie just wrapped up a big tour, but she is a very active musician, so you can check that out as well. But this is the best way to support an artist because, as
Mhm.
Connie said, they keep finding more and more ways to redirect those dollars away from the actual creators of the music.
Yeah,
And
it's
this is a really the best ways to buy music from the artist and buy concert tickets. So
Directly. Yeah.
do it.
yes,
ConnieKaldor.com and
me and others. Yeah.
yes. So make it happen. And also it's going to sound the best because
Yeah.
we're hearing the High Res Files. If you're listening either on the podcast or on YouTube, it can sound even better than the music you're enjoying right now if you get the high quality audio, either by downloading those high res files or by buying the CD.
Not to mention the beautiful artwork and
Oh,
the
yeah.
liner notes and all the stories that kind of come with an album.
Yes.
And we appreciate that here at the Back Catalog.
We sure do. And we also want to get to as much music as we can.
That's right.
But we do want to remind folks who are joining us for the live chat today that feel free to throw any comments or questions for Connie into the chat. We'll get to as many as we can. This next song is one that I know you wanted to make sure we got to, which is Woman Who Pays. I think I
Yes.
already know from this title that you have some things to say about it.
Well, there in 2021 there was a headline in the Montreal newspaper and across all the news feeds in Montreal: 8 women in 8 weeks killed in domestic violence, which is like one of those. And of course, people are talking about it and all of this stuff. And Montreal is a city where people hit the streets when something really bothers them. It's one of the reasons I love this place. And all these women hit the streets, even placards. And one of those women was someone that was on the volleyball team with my daughter-in-law, in the 20s, like they're in their 20s. And I don't know, why does this still go on? I don't know. It just hit me. And I was sitting just working songs, working on a certain pattern. And the song just came to me. And I think that's the way I deal with things that really bother me, or really, I never usually set out to write a song about a subject, because every time I do that, it sounds dumb and preachy, and I don't even like it myself. But sometimes things just come out, and this is one of those tunes. And another thing I should mention is there's a great blues guitar player, Susie Vinnick, that plays the blues guitar on this. I was she's somebody I've known. She's originally from Saskatchewan. She lives in Ontario now, and she tours all over. She's really a great player and singer and human being. And I wanted her to do other side of this, the other guitar on this track, and she did. I'm grateful. And and also, it was nominated for Song of the Year last year at the Folk Alliance International, and I've thought many times that I am so grateful to be in this scene when something with this subject matter can make it to that, to Song of the Year or whatever. I'm gobsmacked, first of all, and two, just grateful that this kind of subject can be brought up and nominated. Like, it was fabulous for me. Anyway, Women Who Pays.
Women Who Pays. Connie Kaldor here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
When times get tough and the anger reigns, it's the woman who pays. Same old story again and again. It's the woman who pays. A woman a week dead in Montreal. It's the woman who pays. Last in line of 911 calls. It's the woman who pays. How many angry lies are said? How many kids hiding under their bed? What is the cost of that roof over their head? It's the woman who pays. It's the woman who pays. Blame it on the drugs and the alcohol. It's the woman who pays. Loss of anger control pushed her through the wall. It's the woman who pays. How many kicks on the kitchen floor, waiting for the cops pounding at the door? How long till he says he won't do it anymore? It's a woman who pays. It's the woman who pays. Doesn't like her friends, doesn't like her hair. It's the woman who pays. And when he doesn't like something, then she better beware. It's the woman who pays. Says that he's rich, so they'll never believe. Just put on your smile and your longer sleeves and hunt her down and kill her and the kids if she leaves. It's the woman who pays. It's the woman who pays. She'll have to press charges or they'll let him go. It's the woman who pays. Fear is the bruise that doesn't show. It's the woman who pays. How many hits till he calls a halt? Every time he says it's all her fault. What is domestic about assault? It's the woman who pays. It's the woman who pays. It's the woman who pays.
All right. Connie Kaldor, Woman Who Pays, from her 2023 album, Keep Going. Wish I could say that wasn't still relevant, but
Yeah, I keep hoping that someday it won't be relevant at all. It'll just be in the past. But man,
I can see why it was
unfortunately.
nominated. It's
Yeah.
a really important message, and it's a
Yeah, thank you.
wonderfully executed song as well. The way it was kind of couched in a kind of blues form.
Yeah, we just did it, two
really hit it.
guitars and whatever she wanted to do on the back end, and yeah, it was great.
so good.
Connie says wow, and Jocelyn says wow, just wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm proud of that song.
Second that. And again, this is available on this Connie Kaldor CD, Keep Going. And when you go to her website, you will also find that Connie has a new album as well. And Wide Open Spaces.
Yes, all about my part of the world. I wanted to do it. I've written a lot of songs during the same time. When it was lockdown, I did a lot of the writing. And I had a lot of these kind of Western theme songs about the West, or kind of Western themed like, and we've been playing them with the pedal steel now that jazz player has gone to the dark side and playing pedal steel.
Excellent.
And yeah, I love it too. Anyway, I just said, I want to do an album all about this part of the world. And one of the inspirations was there's a place called the Grasslands National Park in Saskatchewan where our farm is, and it's a virgin prairie, and buttes, and it's just I just find it beautiful. I love the virgin prairie, this open and rough, and where the cattle, you can see the history. And I sent a photo of I took a photo. I take my friend at the park and I took a photo of them. Maybe I'm a bad photographer, I don't know, but I said, "Oh, the beautiful Grasslands National Park. I just love this place." And somebody responded, "Calder, only you could find that beautiful." I'm like, wait a minute. I kind of got my back up.
That's my prairie you're talking
That's
about.
my prairie. And I thought, well, then obviously I want to do a whole album about that part of the world, the Western. It's kind of a Western themed, and stories about the place, and stories about my, Saskatchewan and Alberta and all all of those kind of prairie places. I'm going to do it. Everything's going to be linked somehow, either a friend from there, or something like that, or kids, or whatever, my family. I just want to do a whole album of that. So that's what this is. And I was telling you earlier, there's a song called Wide Open Spaces, which has been so much fun to sing in the prairies on this tour. That and Cowboys Still Live in Saskatchewan. But I actually, speaking before I make jokes, that it's taken me like 45 years to get the word casserole in a song.
You did it.
But I don't want to denigrate. I don't want to make it all about that. But it just, there's lots of fun in it, but it's also about that part of the world, that not many people sing about. There's more and more coming from Saskatchewan. There's some young writers coming up, which is really great. But there's always those places that seem like nobody celebrates because they aren't singing from there. Or they don't, but they're beautiful and they're meaningful and they're powerful and they're linked to people out there. And for me, this is my chance to do that with that part of the world and sing songs about, again, stuff like people losing their ranch and because the mad cow or the price of beef goes down or whatever. And a lot of, maybe it's because I have sons that are in their late 20s and 30s, and I just see a lot of young people struggling and doing it, like I just am I love resilience. I love seeing it. I love, I see resilience in people that, just carry on. Gonna do it. We're gonna stand up, and there's lots of things like that I was thinking, and to celebrate a part of the world. One of the songs is about a little road called the Crane Valley Road that I go down all the time. And it's a little hilly part, and I thought, and you want to hear an interesting story?
Mm-hmm.
We were on tour and I was saying to the band, someday what I really love is that a bluegrass program would take that and play that song so that they know we have beautiful hills in Saskatchewan too, not just Kentucky. And literally the next day, I get this email from a guy with a bluegrass program that's going to play that song. Right. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" The airwaves. Google must be sending him things through my phone or something. I don't know.
You put it in the universe.
Yeah, put it in the universe. I don't know, but anyway,
that's great. The Back Catalog Listening Party is brought to you by EFS Publicity. Founded by veteran publicist, promoter, DJ, and musician Ellen Stanley, EFS brings an artist's perspective to the table, working to help clients get to the next level in their career. Services include national and international media campaigns, radio promotions, tour press, crowdfunding, grant writing, and more. Get a quote or set up a consultation today at efspublicity.com. Well, we got a question, actually, speaking of writing from different perspectives and about different parts of the land.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have the farm in Saskatchewan. You also live in Montreal, which is where you're joining us from today. Someone asked about if you ever have written a song in French.
I have. And I've written, songs for my kids because our home is bilingual. And I've written lines and stuff, but I wrote children's songs in French. My sister-in-law was a woman named Carmen Campagne. She's since passed away, but she was the daycare diva. She sold more records than anybody else. She's a great singer, and she had this wonderful career with children's music in French. Incredibly successful. She was a very talented person. And I would write songs for her because I was writing them for my kids. Mm-hmm. So when my level of French is une moufette tapette, une moufette tapette, you don't sing it in your show. But to translate that, a skunk farted, which delights people, delights toddlers. But I'm not as adept because I don't read as much in French. I speak French. I can do an interview in French and I can sing in French and stuff, but I don't have the dexterity in French to write. I can find lines and stuff like that sometimes when I'm helping my sons write in French, but that's not my, I love the English language. I love reading. I read all the time. I love poetry. I love the way words fit together. So that's where that's where it's easy for me. And there's also, I'm surrounded by people who are writing great songs in French. So why bother? They're doing it.
Yeah. That sounds great. Well, whatever language, we are enjoying it right now because music is the universal language. So
that's right.
We are so grateful that you are joining us. And it feels like that's the theme of today's show, which is appropriate because as we tape this today, we're heading into the American Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes.
And so all this talk about gratitude for the musicians and community and opportunities that have come your way, and this opportunity for us to talk about this music. We are so deeply grateful that you've taken the time off after flying in at 3 a.m.
I know.
The night before to chat with us, which should be the kickoff of your vacation, but instead you're spending with us.
Talking about music is always a vacation. I mean, I love music. I love listening to music. I like making music. I think it's one of the great, and it always beats housework.
It's true.
Always.
Let's keep this going so you can avoid the housework. But we do want to take, while we're on this theme of gratitude, we do want to take an opportunity to thank the folks that have made this show possible for 5.5 years, our Patreon supporters.
Who also love to listen to music and avoid housework.
Yes, exactly. For whatever reason, they keep joining the party and keeping this party going and through their monthly support. And we want to thank Penny, Ann, Alinda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Christy, Diane, Hetty, Sandy, Neighbor, Ann, BZ, Paul, Cynthia, Ross, Mike, Eric, Stephanie, and maybe you, if you would like to join our Patreon community. You can go to patreon.com/back catalog listening party. And when you do, you get invites to the live tapings. So if you're wondering, how do I ask questions from Connie Kaldor and find out about whether she writes in French or, well, this is how you do it. You join the Patreon and we'll send you invites to all the live tapings. We'll give you first look at all the guests and the upcoming podcast episodes. And, also, while supplies last, the Back Catalog Listening Party pint glass.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, hey.
Still a few left, folks. Yeah. And I'll just say, there's just something special about listening to music together. Even if it's virtual, when we're doing it live, I don't know, it just changes how I hear the music, and especially when you get to hear the backstories from the artists like Connie, it's really special. And we do appreciate all of our Patreon supporters for keeping this going for 5 years. We couldn't do it without you. And anybody else out there who just is out there supporting independent musicians and artists, keep doing keep doing the Lord's work, folks. This is the anecdote to all the craziness. This is what keeps us going. Speaking of keeping going here today.
Yeah. Amen to that. And we want to make sure we get to at least one more track from Connie Kaldor's album, Keep Going, which we've been revisiting today. And this is a song called Wild One. Is there anything you want to say about this before you take a listen?
This we farm in southern Saskatchewan in a little place called at the corner of No and Where, we call it near Willowbunch, Saskatchewan. And I don't know, I just saw this woman in a Cinnabon. I knew this is for all of the wild women out there that just didn't fit in, that stuck out, that are too loud, that are too this, that are too that are too smart, that are too wild, to win all the races or whatever. I just saw this woman and I thought, they call her, I don't know, she's a wild one. Those ones that are the wild ones. They just don't want to fit. They don't want to dress the same way as everybody dresses. They don't want to, they're always doing something. So this is for all of those wild ones. And in those little towns, wherever you are, maybe you were a wild one and you're still a little bit of wild in there. Drag it out for this song. And it's also just, sometimes there are songs that are just fun to play. Ding, 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 ding. I just love it when the guitar comes in. I don't know. It's a song I want to drive to. Really, this is really what it is. I just want to put it on when I drive. That's it. That's what this song is for.
Right on.
Anyway,
Well,
wild one for all you wild ones out there.
Right on. And if you're listening while you're driving right now, listening to the podcast, crank it up. What a great way to finish our hour here with Connie Kaldor. This is Wild One on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Always ran. She's a wild one, climb any tree saying yes I can. She's a wild one, no fence in town she couldn't leap, and no promise she made she wouldn't keep. Every choice that her mama made, but they'd all line up at her mama's door the minute they got paid. She's a wild one, she'd win every race and folks would shake their head. She's a wild one, in a world of beige she was neon red. She's a wild one, bought a truck and painted it electric blue, and fast was the only speed she knew. Mama said there's no reason that you do what I have done. I have made my mistakes, but honey, you're not one. You're strong as a prairie storm, pretty as a sunset sky. Like that hawk overhead, you were made to fly. You're a wild one. She's a wild one. She's got a smile that goes right to her eyes. She's a wild one, top of a class, everyone's surprised. She's a wild one. Last day of school, that town was in her rearview mirror. Everyone knew she was never coming back here. Her mama said, go live your life and don't you ever feel shame, 'cause some folks cannot stand what they cannot tame. You're strong as a prairie storm, pretty as a sunset sky, and like that hawk overhead, you were made to fly. You're a wild one. You're strong
All right. Connie Kaldor with Wild One. Yeah. Wait for that last guitar.
We missed it. Oh,
Yeah.
what is there? That's, I love it.
I love it. That is from Connie Kaldor's album Keep Going, which came out in 2023. We've been revisiting today on the Back Catalog Listening Party. Connie joining us from her home in Montreal to chat with us about it. Such a wonderful hour of music and conversation. And I'm so glad that you are continuing to keep going because you obviously have so much more to say and more stories to tell.
That's right.
And we love it. Again, you can also check out her new album, Wide Open Spaces. You can find both of these records and all of her great catalog at conniekaldor.com. And if you go to the show notes at backcataloglisteningparty.com, you'll find links to some of the other musicians that we mentioned, all the different musical family members and all that good stuff. But we are so grateful, Connie, that you took this time to chat with
my
us.
pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, our friend Connie chimed in to say, what a wonderful show. Definitely going to look up more of this music. Thanks all. Thanks, Connie, for tuning in. And yeah, I think I think everybody should go out and look up more of this music.
That's right. And that's what this show is all about, which is kind of unearthing some of these gems that maybe we forgot about or somehow that missed our radar. And we're so glad that grateful for everyone who is listening, whether you're listening through at the podcast version of the show or whether you're joining us for the live taping on YouTube. We are so grateful that you're here. And again, music is great all the time, but when it's enjoyed with other people, there is something really special about it, even when it's online. So we want to thank all of you for joining us and all the great comments flying in.
Yeah.
I love the fact there's comments.
Yeah. We have a wonderful community here at the Back Catalog, and we thank you all for hanging out with us during the special lunch hour taping.
Yeah, that's right. And again, if you like what you're hearing today on the show, no matter what platform you are tuned in from, you can like it there. You can review the episode. You can share it with your friends, and you can subscribe because then you'll get notified of what's when new episodes drop. We drop new episodes every week, and that's how you can get notified about it. But mainly, just thank you for being here for this party because this was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
This was a tea party.
Tea party. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, cheers, Connie. Cheers, Ellen. And cheers to all of you out there. We'll see you next week here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the Back Catalog Listening Party. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, which helps more people discover our show and our guests.
And do you want to be a part of the live show, get a first look at upcoming guests, and receive invites to private online parties and live streams? Then join our Patreon community at backcataloglisteningparty.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Friday for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.